Okay, so the YCJA deals with 12 to 17-year-olds. It stops at 17 because at 18 you are legally considered an adult, which means that you can also be tried as an adult and punished as an adult. And so some of those things that were guaranteed to you, you may not have the right as an adult to have your parents with you during questioning, but you do have the right to have a lawyer with you. Yes?
If like the court date, and if say if you're like 17 and a court date is like past your birthday or something, would you be?
That's an excellent question. So if you commit the crime at, let's say, 17, and your court trial date is when you're 18, 19, 20, depending on if it gets pushed around, whatever happens, they will still try you as a child because that's when you committed the crime. That's my understanding. Right? So they can't say like, oh, Your Honor, this crime was committed in 2019, but now it's 2024. The defendant is 22 years old. Let's try him as an adult. No, this person didn't commit the crime at 22. They committed the crime at 16.
Does that mean that they also get the same punishment?
Yeah, I think they would have to look at it as if they were a child, right? So you can't just say like, hey, this person's now an adult, give them an adult sentence for something they did when they were under the age of 18. Right? That's my understanding. Okay, now kids aged 12 to 14 years of age, they cannot have adult sentences, which can, from my understanding, can depend. So let's say you, I don't know, poke multiple people with sharp objects repeatedly, right? Maybe then they look at your history and go, okay, despite the fact that this person's 13 and a half years old, due to a history of criminal activity, due to a repeat offense system, maybe, and due to the severity of the offense, how bad their action was, maybe we need to try this person as an adult. Okay, it's possible. But I would have to look more into that, so don't take that as cement. Okay. But if you are over the age of 14, how many of you are over the age of 14? Raise your hand. Okay, so about 4 or 5 of us could receive a adult sentence if we commit a serious enough crime. You might have to get a police officer in here, lock you up. Okay. Now, additionally, the privacy of young offenders is protected. So your name, your location, all that information about you is protected. Why do you think that is? Because if I were to commit a crime, they put my name everywhere. Okay. Why do you think your names would be protected?
Like safety.
Safety, yeah, totally. Any other reasons? Why do we think we want to keep your name safe? Because you're just a child. What happens when there's some serious crime? Do you think there's a lot of public interest and appeal? Yeah, so imagine you do something bad or something bad happens to you. And you have all these news reporters show up to your house and they want to know, do you come here, they put a microphone in your face, there's cameras everywhere. Maybe, I don't know if that always happens, right? They're like, hey, tell us everything. Tell us what you know about this person. Quite frankly, kids, there was a serious crime that was committed in this building, in this room. And many of the comments made by staff that day were that there were news reporters outside the school waiting for students leaving. Hey, did you know the student? Hey, did you know what was going on? What was happening? What was done? So they're basically harassing these people for information. They want a story. Now, if you were on the other side of the school and you didn't really know this person, it's like whatever. It's like maybe you're not nearly as bothered. But if that crime, if that thing happened to you and someone's in your face about it right after it happened, maybe you don't want to talk about it because it's a traumatic experience. It might be very difficult for you to talk about it in that moment. And it might just be annoying. It's like, get out of my face, dude. Like, get out of my face. Okay. So they keep the privacy of not just the offender, but also the offended. Okay. Unless they receive an adult sentence. And it's like, screw you. Okay. Also, helping young offenders to avoid a criminal record. Why do you think you want to avoid having a criminal record?
Harder to find employment.
Harder to find a job. If I had a record, I wouldn't be able to get this job. They would do my police report. They'd say, oh, Mr. Kawaja, you have a criminal offense. Sorry, we can't have you in the building. You're at risk. Okay, so I'm not allowed to just punch people anymore, which kind of sucks. Let's be honest. What you think? What you think? Come on, kids. I'm joking. Okay. Why else? Why else do you think it's good to avoid a criminal record? This might be difficult to get a job. Come on, kids, use that prefrontal cortex. All you have of it. Think into the future. Yes.
Does if you get a criminal, if you commit a crime in your youth, does it go over to when you're an adult?
Yeah, it can affect you when you're an adult, right? So maybe trying to get into a university, trying to travel. If you have a criminal record, they won't let you into America. No more trips to New York or LA, kids. Oh. No trip to Yosemite. Go see the mountains. Can't go down to Miami. Okay, there's parts of Europe, they won't let you go there either if you have a criminal record. You know, so it can dramatically impact you if you have a record. So that's why they kind of want to avoid having kids with records, because you don't want to, like, imagine somebody told you tomorrow your life is ruined, you'll never be able to leave the country, you won't be able to get a good job, and you're just going to suffer. It's like, well, you know what, buddy, I think I'm just going to keep doing crimes then, because, like, crime pays, kids. For the record, that's a song and not advice. It is sometime. It's almost end. It's almost lunch. I'm thinking we should just finish at this slide, and I'll give you time to do your questions. So, criminal code deals with adults in trouble. Court is the typical consequence, right? So, you know, even if you get a speeding ticket, if you want to challenge that ticket, you have to go to court. Okay? And if you do go to court, kids, you know, wear something nice. Wear a suit. You can wear a suit like this, so the judge can see that this person cares. Don't show up in baggy sweats. Don't show up intoxicated either. Okay, but you shouldn't be doing that. You're in grade 9. Defines adult sentences, which can include long periods of imprisonment for some crimes. So, you know, stealing large sums of money, trying to murder somebody, sexual assault. These type of crimes can have, you know, several year punishments. Canada doesn't really punish people for very long. There's a lot of talk in politics right now about reforming the justice system, because a lot of people call it a revolving door, meaning people get caught for crimes. And I've seen this. Maybe if your parents read the news and follow some of these violent criminal acts, what always comes up a day or two later, a week later, is that, hey, this person had committed a crime a few months ago, a few years ago, was put into jail, was let out on bail, and you know, was out in the streets, and they committed another crime. Like, it's really sad to see, right? But in Canada, it's not that common that they will just put you away for 10, 15, 20 years. And some people might say, hey, that's a good thing, right? Because, you know, you make one mistake, or you do one bad thing, should you be put into prison for 15 years of your life? Think about it. Like, there's very few of you who are 15 in this classroom. Your whole life in a cell. Whereas other people say, no, that's terrible. Like, if you kill someone, that's it, buddy. Done deal. Like, you took someone else's life willingly, or you made a very bad choice, like getting into a vehicle while you're impaired, very drunk, or intoxicated on some substance, and you killed a family. You lost your chance. You took away their right to life. So, you know, your freedom should be limited. We don't want you in the general public. And, you know, it's very difficult to tell sometimes which one is right or wrong. But man, I got to tell you personally, when I hear a story of like somebody, actually someone very close to me, this happened to someone that they know, but the wife and child were kidnapped, abducted, and then murdered by someone who had already had a history, and the community wasn't informed that this violent criminal, this violent offender was living there, right? And so there's a lot of challenges that go with how you deal with criminal behavior. Out of curiosity, just raise your hands. How many of you would want to know if there was a violent criminal living somewhere near you? A violent criminal like that one. Look, the theft about to happen. I'm recording right now, by the way, so Okay. So a couple of you raise your hand. So many of you think that, hey, if someone committed a violent offense, you wouldn't want to know if they live near you. That's interesting. I don't know what to make of that. Okay. Let's see, what else do I need to say here? The basic stuff. So if you're an adult, you commit a crime, they'll publish your name everywhere. They'll publish your picture as well. There might be a manhunt. They might be looking for you if you flee. They also create a criminal record. So if you're over the age of 18, definitely, like if you're my age and I commit a crime, I'm going to get a record. It's going to make my life very difficult. It's going to make all those years I spent in university a big waste of time. Unless I start my own business. Okay. So that's where we'll end today, kids. Thank you.